Hello everyone, welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm broadcasting to you live from beautiful Budapest, Hungary, where it's nice summer weather. Hi Baharat Reddy, hi Baljit, first sponsor in, nice to see you. Hi Manisha, I hope everybody's doing great. Hi Sweta Devi, I'm doing very well, thanks for asking Manisha. All right, today's July 8th, 2018, we're looking at another IELTS Task 2 writing example. Our materials, as usual, are coming from our website. So if you want to pass the IELTS, pay a little bit of money so you don't have to pay a lot to sit the exam again. Learn the right strategies. For academic IELTS, go to aehelp.com. And if you're learning for general IELTS, go to gieltshelp.com. That's generalieltshelp.com. Again, you can download our app. Our academic IELTS app is ready. It's called Academic IELTS Help. You'll see this logo. Check for it in the Google Play Store. Join our full course, pass the IELTS. If you're looking for practice speaking for the IELTS, send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com. There's also some writing, editing services available there for you. Our schedule is the following. Today we're looking again at writing task 2. By the way, the writing task 2 question that we're looking at today is in the stream description. So if you want to have a look or if you get lost, just have a peek at the stream description. Hi Chahal, hi Advit, hi Jubilant James, nice to see you present. No class tomorrow or on Tuesday, then I'll be back on Wednesday at 15 o'clock Central European time with some listening practice, and then the following day on Thursday will be a sponsored chat only class. All right, so here is the task 2 question that we're looking at today. Before we go over that, just want to show you our websites. If you're learning for general IELTS, visit this one. It's with the green background. You can try it for free clicking on the green button, or join the full course, click on the red button. And if you're studying for academic IELTS, then go to aehelp.com, which is this blue background. Again, you can try it for free or join, or if you already have access, just log in at the top and make sure to use it regularly. Okay, so here is today's task 2 question. Task 2 for general and for academic IELTS is usually very similar. So today's class will work regardless of which module you need to do. Hi everyone. Hi Mai. Hi Sanim. Hi Afia. Hi Visara. Hi Yankee. Definitely express yourselves. Use the chat. That's why I'm here. Okay, so here we go. Let's take a peek at this question. Again, if you get lost, the question is available in the stream description, so you can always review it there. So task 2, you should spend about 40 minutes on this task. Again, practice your timing at home, okay? In the IELTS, girls and guys, you have 1 hour for the writing section, and nobody tells you when 20 minutes is up or when you need to begin your task 2. So make sure you practice your timing at home. Have a watch with you. Hopefully there's a clock in the room when you're doing your IELTS exam. If you've spent 20 minutes on task 1, make sure to finish it. And then move on to task 2. Task 2 is worth twice as much as task 1, okay? So you got to make sure that you leave twice as much time. It's logical sense. All right, so present a written argument or case to an educated reader with no specialist knowledge of the following topic. It's really important. Your reader's smart. They don't know what you know. You have to make sure that you complete your ideas and finish your sentences, okay? This is a mistake that I see fairly frequently among IELTS students. They don't finish their ideas and sentences clearly in the essay. So pay attention to that. I'm Ahmed. I'm doing very good. Thank you. Exactly. Like an alien. As if you're speaking to an alien. Highly intelligent, but coming from a very different world. You need to be very clear and expressive. I can't read the Chinese characters, but you're right, like an alien. All right, so here is today's question. Some people think the increasing business and cultural contact between countries brings many positive effects. Others say it causes the loss of national identities. discuss both views and give your own opinion. So yesterday we did a sponsor chat only class with this very much similar type of task 2 where it's discuss both views and give your own opinion. Of course, it was a different question. So this is going to be a really nice chance for everyone to apply what you learned in yesterday's class. How to effectively answer this, discuss both views, and give your own opinion. Rikin, that is the type of topic that we're dealing with. And as usual, task 2 will say, give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. Because of this part of the question, you should know that IELTS Task 2 is a persuasive first-person voice essay. Okay? So persuasive means it's an argumentative essay. You need to convince your reader of some ideas. And first person means it's coming from your own knowledge, your own personal views. So you use I, me, my. Again, I had a couple of emails over the past week where students were worried about writing more than 250 words. Please, girls, guys, don't be worried about writing more than 250 words. The question says write at least 250 words. I've also seen it say write a minimum of 250 words. It's the same. If you write 270, 280, 300 words, that's okay. Usually for the higher marks, you will have more than 250 words. You should worry about using less than 250 words. If you don't have 250 words, you start losing marks. Deepa, good question. Can you use they? They is a pronoun meaning a group of people. Yeah, sure, you can use they if it's correct in context. They can be used in third person, first person, second person voice essay. It's simply a pronoun referring to a group of people, so it's fine. You can use they or them, okay? No problem. All right. So, the structure of task 2 essay, this is for discuss both views, okay? A little bit of a review from yesterday's class, but a very important review. Your task 2 essay should have 4 paragraphs, all right? You should not write 5 paragraphs. Most of the time when I see students writing more than 4 paragraphs, the paragraphs are underdeveloped. That means that the student will have maybe 3 or 4 body paragraphs, and they will introduce a point, but then the explanation is lacking. There's no example in many cases, so it's underdeveloped. You don't want to have underdeveloped body paragraphs. For a 250-word essay, 4 paragraphs is plenty, having an introduction, 2 body paragraphs, and a conclusion, okay? And as long as they're well developed, you will reach those 250 words. Plagiarism, Ovi Saha, is when you're using somebody else's words or when you're copying somebody else's work. I've seen that in IELTS where students memorize some essays on certain topics like education, business, so on. And then if they see that the task 2 question is about education, then they use that essay that they memorized. It's not good. Okay? If you're not answering the question specifically, you will not get a high mark, even if you write a perfect essay. And if you're writing an essay that you've memorized, 99% the IELTS examiners will realize that that was just a memorized essay and copied from the brain or recited from the brain, and you will not get passing scores. So please don't do that, okay? All right. Again, Chari Sen, the topic or the question for the task 2 essay is in the stream description. So 4 paragraphs. The 4 paragraphs are introduction, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and then a conclusion. And when you're discussing both views, you basically want your body paragraph 1 to be the side that you disagree with or you think less of. Then side 2 should be the side that you agree with. Just ignore this note here that's from yesterday's class, okay? And this one as well. So the reason that you want to do this, okay, so the reason that you write paragraph 1 about the side you agree with, paragraph 2, the side you disagree, or sorry, the side that you disagree with is paragraph 1, side you agree with is paragraph 2, is because you want to leave your reader thinking about the side that you support. So it makes logical sense to have that as the second body paragraph. And then you have your conclusion, okay, where you wrap it all up and finish off what you're saying, okay? Naja, the classes usually these days start at 15 o'clock Central European Time. Okay, so you want to apply paraphrasing to the question. That should always be your first step, all right? So try to say the question in another way. And when you practice this, you can do it nice and smooth. So here it says, some people think the increasing business and cultural contact between countries brings many positive effects. Try to paraphrase this. That's right, Manisha. Thank you for jumping in there. Hi, Amanjot. So nice to see some sponsors. So yeah, absolutely. So try to paraphrase this. I'm going to paraphrase it. You paraphrase it too. And I'll let you know if your paraphrasing works. See what I do. Try something different. So certain individuals believe that greater business and cultural interaction among countries carries several benefits. The opposition states that this globalization leads to the loss of cultural heritage. Okay? So that is my paraphrase for this one. Let's see what you can do, okay? Remember, you can use expressions, grammar, synonyms, antonym negatives to paraphrase as well. Heritage means your past, Jobert, if that was a question. Robert Cinco. So the original question says, some people think the increasing business and cultural contact between countries brings many positive effects. Others say it causes the loss of national identities. All right? So if I understand this question correctly, I should be able to paraphrase it. My paraphrasing is, certain individuals believe that greater business and cultural interaction among countries carries several benefits. The opposition states that this globalization leads to the loss of cultural heritage. Okay. I believe that's good. It works. Let's see what else is coming up. Manisha says, it is said that in international business and fusion of cultural values results in productive impacts, while others support that this practice leads to the disappearance of individualism of countries. That's pretty good, Manisha. I like it, okay? Jubilant, few people assume that growing industry trade and cultural connection amidst different states brings positive effects, while others think that it nurtures negative results to national identity. A little correction there at the end, Jubilant, but it's pretty good. Mohammed says, although certain individuals believe that enhancing trade and relations among economies have advantages, opponents say it is against national interest or national identity. Yeah, that works pretty good, Mohammed. I like it. Barath Reddy says, most of the individuals believe that higher doesn't work there. Greater business and cultural interaction makes more positive effects, while others say it is a loss of national identification or identity. It's a little bit better there. Bharat, it's not bad. That's an all right paraphrase. Good, girls and guys. So keep that up, okay? Practice paraphrasing at home so you can do this quickly. Why? Because you make sure you understand the question, you gather valuable vocabulary for your essay, and you think about the question more deeply so you can write a better essay. Yeah, Manisha, this is a little bit about globalization. This was another question that was submitted by Amanjot along with yesterday's, so that's why I'm bringing it up today. Okay, great. So we have that. Now we do a little bit of critical thinking. First, we want to identify the topic. Okay. What's the topic in this case? So, girls and guys, all 147 of you watching at this very instant, what is the topic of this question? Okay. And I kind of gave you a little bit of help here with my paraphrasing. So you're saying it's culture and business, trade and culture, business, culture and business. I would say a better way to state this is globalization. So when we're talking about the increasing exchange of business and cultural contact, a much more simple way to say that is globalization. We're saying that we're talking about globalization. So Manisha, your question was correct. Are we talking about globalization here? Yeah, absolutely. If we say increasing business and cultural contact between countries, we're basically defining globalization. It's a definition of globalization, right? So it's a definitive paraphrasing. So we're talking about globalization. What's the controlling idea? Brenda says advantages, but it's not quite. So what is the controlling idea? What controls this question? Okay. Well, if you want to keep it simple, it says that some people say this has a lot of benefits, while others people say that it leads to a loss of cultural identity. So controlling idea is the positive influences and the loss of cultural identity. Okay? That would be the controlling idea. Now here, it's very important to pay attention to the and, because you have to discuss both views. So it's not or, but it's and. Okay? Yeah, Pachu, very nice, very simple. Benefits and loss of identities. Okay, so globalization, what is it? Well, we just had that definition given to us. So exchange of business and cultural practice among nations. Why? Why do we have that? So girls and guys, this is where you want to think. These why questions are in many cases the key for you to write that solid 7, band 8, band 8.5 essay. So why? Why do we have exchange of business and cultural practice among nations? Why don't we just stick to ourselves? Why don't we just say, hey, I'm not going to export goods to other countries, fly them and put them on boats and send them thousands of kilometers away. I'm just going to sell them to my neighbor. Why do that? So there's definitely different reasons. Kira says international ties to make money, to increase profit, according to Jubilant James, economic growth, for development, resource exchange, absolutely. I just saw that come up there. Power is a very good one. Jagard Musasi, technological exchange. Yeah, those are all great reasons. So why? Economic benefits, technological advancement, exchange of resources, right? If I don't have any oil in my country, but people are using cars, I got to get that oil from somewhere. If I don't have fresh water, got to get it from somewhere. Okay, so how do we do this? How is a good point to come to as well here. So how do we do it? Trade, tourism, exactly. So there's a lot of different reasons. Enhancing relationships is maybe a secondary effect of that, absolutely. So how do we do it? Jeffrey says with negotiations, exchanging of ideas, sure. So those are the non-physical aspects, right? Import-export. Mass transportation, right? Communications, absolutely. So using boats, using planes, so on and so forth. So good. So that's how we do it, all right? So, okay, now let's look at the controlling idea. Is it good or is it bad? Okay. Now, I introduced a new type of thinking in yesterday's sponsor class, and I want to review it with everybody today. So, a lot of times students ask me, how can I get some ideas for task 2? So, how can I quickly come up with some good ideas to include into my essay that will work, that will help me to get nice high band scores, okay? So in yesterday's class, I introduced this concept of thinking big to small, but also thinking small to big, okay? So thinking from the general ideas into the specific examples, and also being able to turn that upside down and thinking of specific examples and then going out towards the more general ideas. So when you think big to small, you may think something like countries lose their national identity because of globalization. Okay, so that answers a what question. What happens? Okay, why? Since large nations impose their way of life and belief systems on other cultures, over time, these cultures lose their history. Okay? So that's the why. And then the how is going to be an example. So again, you'll see what I'm doing here. Just bear with me, okay? It'll make a lot of sense. So many of the small ramen shops closed down in Osaka because, let's make that more clear for everyone, Japan, because they were replaced by McDonald's. Okay? All right, so that would be a how. The how is the example. The previous one, the why, is the explanation. Okay? So this is one type of logical process in your mind, all right? Araya, KFC spreading in other countries, sure, that works as well, okay? So two ways to generate the answer. Think big to small, small to big. Here's an example of big to small. Countries lose their national identity because of globalization. That's what we're talking about. That's the topic, right? Then we're looking for an explanation. So why? Why does that happen? Well, since large nations impose their way of life and belief systems on other cultures, over time these cultures lose their history. That's the explanation, okay? And then I need to back it up with a good example so it's clear. Many of the small ramen shops closed down in Osaka, Japan, because they were replaced by McDonald's. So that would be an example of how that's happening, okay? Now, that tends to be the way that most students think when they're planning their response or their ideas for task 2. Also, hint, hint, speaking part 2. Same kind of approach works there. The other way that you can approach this is think small to big. So if you get stuck, especially if you get stuck coming up with good ideas, reverse this process. Start to think of some specific examples and then go outward towards the explanations and the bigger what questions, okay? All right, so here we go. Let's do this small to big. Now for the small to big, let's take a different approach. So let's look at the other point, which is the benefits of business and cultural exchange. So can you please think of all those beautiful viewers right now watching, while you get a quick glimpse of my little girl here, just try to think of a specific example of how business and cultural exchange helps or benefits other nations. So think about that, okay? And let's work our way outwards. All right? So think of some specific examples. What have you seen in your life or in the movies or heard on TV where there's a benefit to this? Okay? Thank you, Pachu. It's my daughter. She just turned 2. So benefits of business and cultural exchange. All right? Think of the example. So we're going small to big this time instead of big to small. Okay? So think of the how. Think of the example. And I want this to be specific, visual, measurable. I want to be able to see this. Okay? Good examples should be easy for the listener to imagine. Thank you, Gerard. Okay, so give me a specific example. So learning English, Kira, you'd want to make it more specific. So you could say something like, over the last 5 years, I was able to learn English because my neighbor came to do business from the UK, and I'm able to speak with him every day. Something like that, okay? Manmohan says, with the help of trade, countries can focus on production of goods which they have a comparative advantage. A little bit awkward, difficult to understand. Mohammed Wahab says, in Saudi Arabia, recently driving for women is permitted because of Western cultural influences. Okay, that's all right. You'd want to try to make that more specific, Mohammed. So you could say something like, thanks to globalization, my wife was able to get her driver's license in Saudi Arabia, and now I don't have to take the kids to school anymore. She can do it, okay? So something like that, Mohammed. Jeffrey says, one of my friends who is working in Thailand for 6 months is now trilingual because he got experience there as a manager for a company. That's very good, Jeffrey. That would be a good example. Okay? Baljit says there are new metro lines in India thanks to technology that has come over from China, and this allows me to get to work twice as fast. That would be a good one, Baljit. Bring it home. Bring it into your own world, all right? Deepa says, for example, Japan exports medical equipment to poor countries so that they can have better healthcare systems. This is why one of my cousins was able to recover from the flu. So make it very real, okay? All right. So good. Let's take one of those examples. So as a result of international trade, many people are now driving hybrid cars in Budapest. So there is much less air pollution, and I can breathe better when going for my morning jogs. Now, this is actually true, girls and guys. So I just took that from real life. So as a result of international trade, many people are now driving hybrid cars in Budapest, so there's much less air pollution and I can breathe better when going for my morning jogs. That's absolutely true. I go for jogs. There are a lot more hybrid cars in Budapest these days. It is a result of international trade and there is less air pollution. So something taken from real life and a definite positive for society. So definite benefit of cultural exchange here, okay? That would be a specific example. So that is the how. Now we go to the why. So now the explanation. So why? So what is the explanation of my sentence here? That's what I'm thinking here, okay? So make the connection. So the how and the why need to be connected, right? So the why now is the explanation for the benefit of such a specific example in globalization, all right? Deepa, there is no such thing as an informal example. This is a first-person voice example. It's absolutely formal, okay? It's just using first-person voice, which you should do in most Task 2 essays. Okay, so why the explanation? Okay, so international trade or trade among nations provides better technologies to countries, which in turn allows them to safeguard their environments and live more comfortable lives. Okay, so that's the explanation. So I'm going from the small to the bigger here, right? I'm talking about, what am I talking about here? I'm talking about a piece of technology here. What has this technology done? It's helped to safeguard the environment. It's come from other nations like Japan, Germany, where these hybrid cars are being engineered for the most part. And so the explanation is trade among nations provides better technologies to countries, which in turn allows them to safeguard their environments or their nature and live more comfortable lives. Okay, so then we go to the what. And we can say, in the grand scheme of things, you shouldn't use things, but in the grand scheme of history, globalization is helping nations. Okay, so what in the grand scheme of history, globalization is helping nations. All right. So that would be going from small to big. And Jeffrey, I am reading your explanations there. Same with Jubilant James. They are good, okay? All right. So that is the small to big. So again, remember this strategy when you're stuck for task 2, or again, just sneaking this in there, speaking part 2, okay? If you're having trouble thinking of the part 2 question and speaking from the general perspective, start quickly thinking of specific examples from your own life, from the movies, from books you've read, from posts you've seen online, on Facebook, so on. And then from those specific examples, work outwards towards the bigger picture, okay? So remember, think big to small, but also think small to big, all right? World Trade Organization is a good example as well. Sure, there are lots of good examples. Let's get into it, girls and guys. Let's write the introduction. Okay, so the introduction has 3 parts, right? It has the hook, the background, which kind of is like 2 parts, and then the thesis, okay? So let's start off with the hook. Think about a good hook. Let me show you that question. Again, it's in the stream description, so you can see the question there. All right. Here's the question again. Some people think the increasing business and cultural contact between countries brings many positive effects. Others say it causes the loss of national identities. Discuss both views. Please give me a good hook for this essay. Remember, the topic here is basically globalization. So think about a hook that works for a topic of globalization. Let's see what you can come up with. Girls and guys who are watching, hook is important for task 2. If your teacher said it's not important in IELTS, it's not true, okay? A hook is a simple, clean sentence, no mistakes, 8, 10 words, maybe 12. It focuses on the topic, gets you focused on what you're about to write, makes it clear for your reader what you're going to write about, what your topic is, catches their attention, okay? And it should be simple. Chahal, very good. Today, the world has become a global village. Excellent. Mohammed, globalization has played a significant role to develop economies. I wouldn't go into underdeveloped economies, Mohammed, just to develop economies. Very good. Murasa, globalization plays an important role in our life. Good. Manisha, the world has become a global village as a consequence of the advancements in communication and transportation. That might be a little bit too much for the hook, Manisha, but the global village is good. Okay? Globalization and international integration has made the world very small. Amanjad, good. I like it. Gagard, Musasi, globalization helps many countries around the world, both developing and developed. Careful with that one because you're already giving an opinion and you shouldn't do that, okay? Jeffrey, since the technology explosion of the late 20th century, humanity has exchanged information for decades for better understanding of each other. Jeffrey, your hook has quite a few mistakes in it. It's a complex sentence. It's too complex. Don't do that. Yeah, I see your comment now. Oops, too long. Yeah, that's the danger. Girls and guys, if you make a mistake in the very first sentence of your task 2 essay, it looks really bad. Okay, if I'm marking a task 2 essay for IELTS and I see mistakes in the very first sentence, right away in my head, I'm like, oh, this is a maximum 6, but probably a 5.5. I shouldn't be looking at mistakes in the very first sentence of task 2. It's not good. It looks really bad, okay? It's like first impressions. Over the past half decade or half century, the world has become a global village. Sure. Good. Okay, a couple of you wrote something similar. I liked it. I'll use it. Over the past half century, the world has become a global village. Yeah, absolutely. So there's some really nice hooks up there, girls and guys. I can't read all of them, but good for trying. Cat lover, the world is closing in, and we as people are more connected to each other than ever before. Okay? Harmeet, I've responded to most emails, I think, that I've seen today. If I missed yours, just send it to me again. All right? Okay, here we go, guys. So now we want to do the background. Background is definitions and importance of this. Okay, so why are we talking about this? All right, so we want to give some background information. Definitions here are quite simple. Okay, so the definition here is easy. It's basically given to us in the question. So more than ever, the increasing communication and transportation of humans and products has deeply connected communities around the world. Okay? So I'm giving a very simple here, I'm giving a definition of what it is. So what is globalization? What are we talking about? It's referring to the question as well. So more than ever, the increasing communication and transportation of humans and products has deeply connected communities around the world, okay? And then some people are concerned that this integration of cultures is leading to the loss of heritage. Okay? Others, however, believe that that this globalization has many benefits. For society. Okay? So there, I'm already kind of writing the thesis. I've written it in 2 sentences so far. I've missed writing the importance of this topic. So here, I want to include a little bit more about the importance. Okay? I've noticed that I'm already writing the thesis. I don't want to get to the thesis yet. I want to say 1 sentence about the importance. Why is it important to discuss this topic? So why are we concerned about globalization? Ekam, this is an introduction that will definitely get you a score above 7 if you write it like this, okay? So why is it important? Sweta, Devi, you're kind of on the right track with what you wrote there. So globalization is taking over and plays a role in most people's lives. Yeah, that's definitely the part of the importance. Mohammed, yes, you can definitely include your paraphrasing. So the paraphrasing that I did here to answer your question, where I paraphrased here, the certain individuals believe that greater business and cultural interaction carries benefits. Yeah, you could use that in your introduction for the background. Absolutely. Within the next couple of centuries, people might no longer remember their cultural background. Absolutely, Jeffrey. I think that's what everybody's worried about with globalization, and that is the importance of the topic. Yeah, we're worried that humanity is going to lose a lot by losing our individual cultures, right? So the importance is in the next 100 years, future generations may no longer know their cultural ancestry. Sure. So there you have the importance. So far we have, over the past half century, the world has become a global village. More than ever, the increasing communication and transportation of humans and products has deeply connected communities around the world. In the next 100 years, future generations may no longer know their cultural ancestry. Some people are concerned that this integration of cultures is leading to the loss of heritage, while others believe that this globalization has many benefits for society. And then you should finish this thesis statement with, I believe in the latter more than the former. Okay? So here, remember, the question is asking you for your own opinion, okay? Don't forget that original question. Otherwise, it will be difficult to get a band score of 7.5 or higher. It says, discuss both views and give your own opinion, okay? So you have to include your own opinion, and your thesis should always include that opinion when you're being asked for it. So here, I basically have a 3-sentence thesis. Some people are concerned that this integration of cultures is leading to the loss of heritage. Body paragraph 1. Others, however, believe that this globalization has many benefits for society. I believe in the latter more than the former. Body paragraph 2. Okay? Gerard, I'm not sure what you mean by do I need to include why I chose this thesis. That will be within the body paragraphs. And Barath Reddy, I think you're giving me the word count, 60 to 70 words. Absolutely okay. Remember that the essay is minimum 250 words. So if this is 70 words, you still have to write 180 words in 2 body paragraphs and a conclusion. Okay? Cat Lover says, some countries are superpowers and they exert significant power over countries with less military and economic influence. In this regard, I don't think all countries are on equal footing. Cat lover, that's not what the essay is asking you. It's not asking you about the difference of power between countries. And if you write about that, you will lose marks. Careful if you have a task 2 question or even a speaking question in IELTS that triggers a lot of emotional opinion for you. Careful not to let that blind you from what your task is. The IELTS people don't really care about your opinion, okay? They're just there to evaluate your English and your communication. If you get too excited, too angry, or too upset about a topic and you lose control, you lose your focus, your marks will go down. Not because they disagree with your ideas, they might completely agree with them, but if you're not writing about the right topic, you'll lose marks. So don't do that, okay? All right, so here now I can write a topic sentence, okay? For my body paragraph 1. So body paragraph 1, I want to write about people who are concerned that business and cultural exchange is leading to a loss of heritage. Okay? So what would be a good topic sentence for this? Remember, body paragraphs start with a topic sentence. The topic sentence is a deeper explanation or a deeper definition of your point number 1. So here, some people are concerned that this integration of cultures is leading to a loss of heritage. Give me a nice topic sentence based on that one. So you can paraphrase it, add some more details. Vikram, the last sentence, I believe in the latter more than the former, means that I believe in this sentence more than this sentence. Okay? No, Ekam, you should not do that. So you're asking me, should you mention your perspective like as per my view in paragraph 1? No, don't refer to what you're going to do, what you've just done. It's too short. The essay is too short. Just write it, okay? Yeah, Jubilant, very good. So you're saying, hey, Adrian, why are you getting us to think about this? You've already given us the answer in your big to small sentence. So in my big to small sentence, I thought about this, right? Which is here. So countries lose their national identity because of globalization. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I can just take that, copy it, and I pretty much have most of my topic sentence. I will read some of the other ones that are coming up, but I could just copy paste that in there and say countries lose their national identity because of globalization and the influence of powerful nations and pop culture. Sure. Okay, let's see what some of the other students came up. Preeti Sheena says, due to globalization, people are moving to other countries and are attracted to other cultures. Preeti, that's not a topic sentence, that's more of an explanation. Vegan Jeffrey, very good. Many of the older generation are upset to see that the young do not know the meaning of certain holidays. That would be an explanation. It's good for an explanation, not so much a topic sentence. The beginning there, Jeffrey, you had something going. Mohammed Wahab says, due to technological advancements, people are influenced and losing their national identity. Yeah, that's not bad if you want to go into explanation about how technology is doing that. Brands, absolutely, Brenda. Brands like McDonald's, Nike, Adidas, so on and so forth. I would probably follow this up with that kind of explanation. Okay? So, again, countries lose their national identity because of globalization and the influence of powerful nations in pop culture. Okay? That would be my topic sentence for that point. And then I want to give an explanation for that. All right, so think about an explanation. What are we talking about here? Why is this happening? Why are people losing their culture because of powerful nations' influences in pop culture? What's going on? So why does that happen? Anybody? This is a good one for you to actually think about because it does affect all of our lives. And I think a lot of people have a lot of assumptions about globalizations and nationalism. It's definitely a hot topic in today's world, especially with U.S. politics being very nationalistic, first time in a long time. So I definitely think that there are a lot of misconceptions. So why is this happening? So Jeffrey says because it's more attractive. Brenda says because of competition, for the sake of economic benefits is what Mike Maddie says. Kira says that powerful countries impose their culture on other nations. Are they really imposing it though, Kira? So if you're walking down the street and you see a McDonald's and you see a traditional ramen shop, you still have the choice to go to the traditional ramen shop. So is it really being imposed, or are you just given a choice and some people choose to go for the cheaper, less healthy, but very delicious McDonald's, right? So it's a tricky situation here, right? So why is it happening? Okay, this happens in large part because of economic gains for international through international business. Okay, I would say that probably one of the biggest reasons why globalization is happening is because of the economic gains through international business. Okay, I would argue with most people that if countries didn't have an economic benefit to go to another country and do business, they probably wouldn't go. Okay, so that's probably the first part. So this happens in large part because of economic gains through international business. Foreign business brings different types of foods, beliefs, behaviors, clothing, and technology into other countries for a variety of reasons. Comfort, better quality. So for a variety of reasons, comfort, quality, and affordability, these products and services begin to replace local customs. Okay? So that would be my explanation there, okay? I'm ripping along here a little bit because I'm wanting to show you that when you think about this, when you visualize it and you think about it logically, you can come up with a lot of answers. I'm including quite a bit of information in here. You probably don't need to do quite as much if you're going for a 7.5, but it follows a logical pattern. So again, all I'm doing, how am I doing that? Why am I coming up with that so quickly? Well, I already mentioned it here in my explanation when I was thinking big to small. Since large nations impose their way of life and belief systems on other countries, over time, these cultures lose their history. So I just went into a greater detail or explanation of that, okay? So here you can see that the explanation for why this is happening is because of economic gains. Foreign businesses bring different types of foods, beliefs, behaviors, clothing, and technology. I think some student asked me there, what do you mean behaviors? Well, the way that people act, the way that they carry themselves. For example, in some cultures, spitting is terrible. In other cultures, spitting is not. And when you have people coming from one culture to another where spitting is acceptable, then that's going to have an effect, okay? Again, remember, in this essay, Sandeep, you're writing on both views, so both views need to be included, all right? And then you want to give an example, okay? Unfortunately, my uncle had to shut down his family's Indian restaurant because the property was bought by Denny's, a large American breakfast joint. Okay? I just made that up, okay? I took that angle on it. I visualized it. I visualized that I have an uncle who owns a restaurant. Maybe it's been in the family for generations. No, Gerard, I'm going for body paragraph 2 here because I want to show you that small to big example as well. So here I visualize that I have an uncle. My uncle's had an Indian restaurant. It's been in the family for generations. Of course, here I'm living in India. And sadly, he had to close down the restaurant because the property that it was on was bought by Denny's, a large American breakfast joint, okay? So if it's Taiwan, Jeffrey, then it could be a Taiwanese restaurant. So the key here is that there's a piece of culture being lost because of globalization. So that's my example. Okay, however, in most cases, the benefits of business and cultural exchange are positive. Okay, so that's my connecting or concluding sentence. And then I can go on to my body paragraph 2. Now, body paragraph 2, I can use the information that I conceptualized when thinking about this topic from the small to big. So here, I'm reversing this now, right? So my example was, as a result of international trade, many people are driving cars, hybrid cars in Budapest, so there's much less air pollution, okay? Trade among nations provides better technologies, which in turn safeguards nature. In the grand scheme of history, globalization is helping nations. So all I'm doing now is I'm taking this for my topic sentence, I'm taking this for my explanation, and this for my example. And if I want to be very, very frugal with my time, I can just do this. I can do Control Copy, paste that into body paragraph 2. Just bear with me, it's not going to be this general, but I can do this and then expand on it. So why? And then here I can take that for my explanation and put it in there. And then I can grab my example and put it in there. And then all I have to really do is just make my connections a little bit more clean, a little bit more pretty, and then I will have a nice body paragraph, okay? So, boom, like that. Even if I just kept it this simple, it would work. In the grand scheme of history, globalization is helping nations. Trade among nations provides better technologies to countries, which in turn allows them to safeguard their environments and live more comfortable lives. As a result of international trade, many people are driving hybrid cars in India. Let's keep my essay consistent. So there's much less air pollution and I can breathe better when going for my morning jobs, okay? So that's what I'm doing there. Du Nguyen, it's not a compare and contrast. This question is asking you to discuss both these views. So that's why we have to discuss both of these views. Okay? So now, if I want, I can expand a little bit on this. Helping nations to have a better overall quality of life. Okay? More comfortably. Oops. Live more comfortably. Let's do that. Also, it is giving residents greater choices of what to buy. So people are not always forced to pay lots of money for low quality local goods. Or high quality, of course, right? So I can expand on this. All I'm doing here, girls and guys, is I'm just expanding. So I'm showing you that you can expand now if you want. You can put more details in, stretch the paragraph out, put some more ideas in there. And expand it out, okay? Therefore, I am much more in favor of globalization than nationalism. Okay? So make sure to emphasize my view. The question's asking also your own view, so it's really important that you have this kind of a sentence where you're emphasizing your own view. It says discuss both views and give your own opinion. So you really want to make sure that you're including your own opinion in key parts of the essay, such as the concluding sentence in this case. So therefore, I am much more in favor of globalization than nationalism. All right. Now, of course, the last part is the conclusion. The conclusion has three unique little parts. The first part is your points restated. Okay? Clearly, there are both benefits and deficits to having a global community. Where business and culture are exchanged on a daily basis. Okay? So that's the points restated in the conclusion, and then you restate your argument or your own point. Nevertheless, I am in favor of the idea that over living in a global community brings more positives than negatives. Okay? And then you need your take-home message. Okay? Take-home message is something simple that you leave your reader with. It should be easy to see this from your essay. Okay? Easy to understand. Do not introduce a new concept. Okay? And leave your reader with that to chew on. Whether we like it or not, or whether people like it or not, and I'll leave with a very simple concept here. So whether people like it or not, globalization is here to stay. Okay? It's kind of an interesting one. It makes the reader think, hey, I can choose to hate it, I can choose to love it. I think it's quite interesting what's happening in the world today where people are being nationalistic and a lot of people are trying to be more global. I don't think it matters the way the world is, the way the technology works, the internet, communication, so on. We are now a global community. I don't think that's changing. Kira, I don't think I would say governments should encourage global relations because it's off topic. We haven't talked about government's role in globalization. Okay. Yes, I do check task two essays. Jagard Mosasi. I'm sorry for not pronouncing your name correctly. Yeah, I do check task 2 essays. You can send them to me. I can give you a free score estimate. If you want detailed editing, feedback, and so on, it's 6 cents a word US, okay? All right, girls and guys, let's read this essay just one final time to make sure that it makes sense because we did write it piece by piece with a lot of instructions in between. Manisha, globalization plays an inseparable role all over the world would be a good take-home message as well. Here we go. Over the past half century, the world has become a global village. More than ever, the increasing communication and transportation of humans and products has deeply connected communities around the world. In the next 100 years, future generations may no longer know their cultural ancestry. Some people are concerned that this integration of cultures is leading to the loss of heritage. Others, however, believe that this globalization has many benefits for society. I believe in the latter more than the former. Countries lose their national identity because of globalization and the influence of powerful nations and pop culture. This happens in large part because of economic gains through international business. Foreign business brings different types of foods, beliefs, behaviors, clothing, and technology into other countries. For a variety of reasons, comfort, quality, and affordability, these products and services begin to replace local customs. Unfortunately, my uncle had to shut down his family's Indian restaurant because the property was bought by Denny's, a large American breakfast joint. However, in most cases, the benefit of business and culture exchange are positive. In the grand scheme of history, globalization is helping nations to have better overall quality of lives. Trade among nations provides better technologies to countries, which in turn allows them to safeguard their environments and live more comfortably. Also, it is giving residents greater choices of what to buy, so people are not always forced to pay lots of money for low-quality local goods. As a result of international trade, many people are now driving hybrid cars in India, so there is much less air pollution and I can breathe better when going for my morning jogs. Therefore, I am much more in favor of globalization than nationalism. Clearly, there are both benefits and deficits to having a global community where business and culture are exchanged on a daily basis. Nevertheless, I am in favor of the idea that over time, living in a global community brings more positives than negatives. Whether people like it or not, globalization is here to stay. All right. Yeah, that will definitely get you a decent score if you write like that, girls and guys. The key here, remember that strategy that I showed you today where you can approach ideas and questions and generate ideas, not just by trying to think of the big picture, the what's, but try to think of the small specific examples, okay? So think about the details. Think about something you've seen on TV, something you've seen in your daily life, or on the internet, which can help you to conceptualize the explanation and the bigger picture. Girls and guys, practice makes perfect, okay? I make it look somewhat easy at times, but definitely practice is needed to master these skills. So make sure that you spend time doing this, okay? I hope all of you have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a beautiful start to your week. There is no class tomorrow or on Tuesday. The live classes will reconvene on Wednesday. Until then, you can check out our websites, aehelp.com. There's over 100 hours of lesson videos there. academic IELTS, and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. Over the next 2 days, we'll be uploading lots more videos to these websites as well. 6 full practice exams that are interactive. You can use them on your phone or tablet. And a fully interactive course with lots of tips and strategies. You're very, very welcome. Du Nguyen, Manisha, you're very welcome. Jeffrey, a little bit of a recap of the previous class there. Yes, Deepa, you're very welcome again. Have a wonderful day. Peace out. Much love to everyone. Keep up the good fight.